Hello and welcome. This is a continuation of our networking series. In this video, I'm going to show you how to configure extended access control lists. In a previous video, we configured standard access list, and we have a control of a traffic coming from VLAN 10 over here on this router, which is router 2 here. So any source traffic coming from that VLAN 10.1.1.0 hitting this router, they are blocked to reach any destination from there. What we need to do is a granular control of the traffic, and for example, we decided that traffic to be only blocked from accessing ping, for example, but HTTP is allowed for that website. So what we're going to do, we move the configuration from here to this router. But let's first test what was configured earlier, and we were trying to reach that machine. We weren't able to. We were trying to see HTTP, and HTTP is also blocked because we are blocking the whole source IP from that VLAN 10. So if we say 10.3.3.100 and TCP port 80, it will try to connect few times after it gives up and says, okay, the host is not reachable, or the session timed out after some time. So request timed out, and we have no connectivity whatsoever to that destination. I'm going to delete the access list. So let's go to show run and check, or maybe just remove the access list where it's applied. We applied it here. So if you copy that line and go to conft, we can leave the configuration in there, but we don't apply it to any interface. So let's go to interface serial 0/0/0, and we put the command no and in front of it, and then it's removing that configuration. Now if we end and save, and then if we try that traffic again, if we refresh, this should be available. We also want to try the ping, and that ping should work for us as well. Now we know there is no access list blocking that traffic, but we now need to move to here and only say ping is blocked and HTTP is allowed to that destination. And this is through access control lists in the extended version, and we are in the different router that's close to the source to save bandwidth and utilization of our network. So enable, go to the config T, and here I will create the access list. So if I say IP access list, let's call here maybe 100, that is the extended. Or if you put extended, then what's next? You can either use the number or the named. And if you decide to put the number 100, it already knows it's extended. It is extended. So let's say 100, and next is enter. Then you create the statements. It depends how you plan what traffic to be blocked, because the rules are read from top bottom or top down. So make sure what you are blocking and what you're allowing, they are planned properly. So we need to deny. Let's say deny. What are we denying? See, now the options are more. We're denying TCP or maybe ICMP, or let's say ICMP, that traffic from, what's the source? Let's create the whole VLAN 10.1.1.0, and that's a subnet. We need to create it is wildcard mask, so 255, and it says what destination you're going to. And we're going to a specific subnet or a specific IP. We're actually going to a specific machine, so 10.3.3. If you're doing that, so we can say host, and that actually only configures an IP. It says what's the host ID. It is 10.3.3.100, and what are you blocking? You said ICMP, and ICMP echo reply, or the both echo and echo reply. If you leave it all, that means the whole ICMP protocol. So let's do it that way, and that's all done. But we need to permit and also HTTP. So permit the question mark, and then you can see it says if we use the option IP, the all IP protocol, or maybe we are allowing only TCP port 80, so we say TCP, and later we create the port. So let's create only HTTP, for example. So we say TCP, and then what TCP port are we after, but from what source and what destination. The whole subnet here we say 10.1.1.0. And if you put a subnet, it will ask you the wildcard mask, so 0.0.255, that's the /24. This is the source and source subnet. and this is the port we are after. Let's say what destination, source and then destination. So destination, we can say any, or we can create a specific host, and that host, remember, was 10.3.3.100. For that host, we are permitting the port TCP. So which port are we after? We now say equal, and the port, is it FTP, or if you want to put a port number, just use between that range, or FTP, or a specific ones. If you say www, or if you just say 80, port 80 is the same. And then if you say enter, if we now end and then save, if we say show run, you see our extended access list here. And extended access list, if you can see, go to the at the bottom of the configuration. So you can see the first one is blocking anything coming from that subnet, and I'm going to our destination. The second one is allowing this, but we forgot one thing, and that thing is permit IP any. So let's go back to the configuration and go to the access list, and then we say IP access list 100. When you do that, we say permit IP. Okay, let me show you the difference between the first one we have. We say IP. See, from what source we say any, and then what destination any. So that allows you a complete configuration where the implicit deny doesn't block other things. So let's say show run, and if you see, that's now added at the bottom. So that's now configured, but it's not applied, and we're in this router. But in this router we have a physical interface fast ethernet 0/0, but there are sub interfaces. The sub interfaces, there are many. If you get confused, the simple way I use all the time is to exit. Maybe I have 20 sub interfaces. I don't want to go to all of them and then apply in the wrong place, for example. Just to avoid that, I would say let the traffic hit here, but when they're leaving, I need to filter that traffic. So leaving is 0/0. I need to go to that interface and then say, at the moment, nothing is applied to that interface. So no access lists applied to that. So what we need to see is conft and then interface serial 0/0/0, and then IP access group. And remember the access group we were using, we have 100. So we can just put the number, IP access group 100, and the traffic is out from that interface. So we say out. Now the traffic's applied, we save. If we say show run, we can actually pipe and say access, anything like that. So the access list in the simulation I always find not working properly, but in real devices you can choose pipe. It makes the show or the output shorter. So we have that in place, apply it to an interface. Now let's try from VLAN 10. Ping was blocked, and let's see. So ping says unreachable, but what about the HTTP, which we know we allowed? And let's go to the web browser. So it takes a little bit long in this device, in this simulation software. 100, that should be allowed. So we can see anything coming from VLAN 10 trying to ping that destination, it's blocked. The destination is specific machine, but other machines in the same subnet, the ping is not blocked. So we can check that. So this device, what's the IP? That IP I think is 101, but let's make sure we know. 101, yeah. So let's try to ping, even though 100 was blocked. But what about 101? And in here we have 100, but let's put 101. Okay, 101. First time it's looking for, and that couldn't find. The second time it's pinging. 101 is not the destination that we blocked. 100 was the one that we blocked. This is not blocked. This was blocked and it was unreachable, but that one. So you can see from the same source going to the same subnet, specific IPs we can block specific ports, and HTTP was allowed. But what about VLAN 20? Nothing should be blocked from them. So if we ping, that should be all right. If we ping other ports as well as, if we try to access other ports like port 80, they shouldn't be blocked either. So we wait until this shows 10.3.3.100, and there you go. So in summary, you have access list configured in here, access list configured in there. In the previous video, we configured standard and we talked about their functionalities, and now here extended, we also talked about their functionalities. That should work. And if you try in a lab in a physical device, just one warning: if you ever want to do change to access list, do not do that on real device that's in production. Copy the configuration and then edit your configuration in a text file. When you are happy and you confirm everything is perfect, then push that back to your router or whatever device you are applying that configuration to. Okay, that's all for now. Thank you and see you in another video.